Welcome to Comfort Habit number 2. Alright, check it out. So, in my last video, I left off talking about my nephew's flaws. And it's mostly my fault because he's like 11 or 12 years old. And it won't be long before he's bigger than me just like the rest of them. But the thing about teaching is you have to teach people how to turn their flaws into strengths. Alright? The other thing about teaching someone who is a child is keeping them focused on learning. Because if you watch the last video, you'll see that his eyes was never on me, making it easier for me to rip him apart, which is not my job, which is why I was taking it totally easy on him, as you saw. Plus, he's like 12, so you can't put power into a hit when you teach a 12-year-old. Now, again, I mentioned Rob in McDojo Life, and I will give Rob a shout-out, but me and Rob, we think somewhat the same but somewhat different when it comes to black belts. I personally don't like the black belt system. The black belt system is like a mosquito that I just killed. It's bullshit. Alright? The black belt system has kept me and all the stereotypes and all the lies that I've been told since I was a kid about martial arts. And I'm going to go into that right now before I go any further in this video. When I was younger, because I'm 47 now, but I've been doing martial arts since I was 7 years old. I still do martial arts, as you can see. But I was told by every school in Virginia that I attended, to be a black belt, you got to be a first degree black belt to teach in any one school. You got to be a 5th degree black belt to open up your own school. And then you had to go through all this bullshit that I couldn't do. Alright? So first thing I couldn't do, I can't do katas. I can't do katas to save my ass. And you might have seen me doing crane, snake, dragon, tiger, mantis, drunken master, capoeira. You may see me go through the motions. And you may say, James, those are katas. You aren't wrong. But I wasn't taught katas. Until I took Taekwondo, I didn't know what the fuck a kata was. I was taught, boom, that's how you hit. Boom, boom, that's how you block. Boom, 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 that's how you strike. Boom, that's how you kick. Then I was taught, this is where you kick. This is where you hit or kick. This is where you hit or kick. This is where you hit or kick. And then I learned pressure points in Kempo. This is where you hit or kick. And learning Mantis is the same thing. Because you can use Mantis and Kempo together. But a lot of people will tell you, it is bad to combine martial arts. That's bullshit. It is great to combine martial arts because you don't know who the hell you're fighting. But you will learn who you're fighting the easy way or the hard way, depending on how long the fights last. Now, I'm going to be honest. Most street fights don't last more than 5 minutes. Tops. 5 minutes tops. Unless they're really fucking good. Most UFC fights, they have 3 5-minute rounds. Because in real life, fights generally last 5 minutes. It just depends on that person's cardio. It has nothing to do with their fucking strength. And nothing to do with their mental capacity. Your cardio is everything in a fight. And your recovery. If you're able to eat a hit and keep coming forward, then you have good recovery. If you're not able to eat a hit, but you're still tough enough that you can keep fighting, that's good too. But, you know, I ain't been in a fight for a long time. And it wasn't until I was like in my early 30s that I found that I could still take a fucking hit in the first fucking place. But that's the thing, you know, the older you get, the tougher you tend to get. You tend to think that you don't, but you do. And when it comes down to fighting, you have to understand something. The fight is constantly changing. While you are in the fight is constantly changing. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. Now, here's where my difference of opinion with Rob's difference of opinion. Pressure points do work. Rob will tell you that they won't. I love Rob. But I'm going to tell you, right person, right situation, right place, pressure points work. But let me be honest. They work for those of us who know how to use them. If they are put on you properly, they know how to work. If you are a person of Kempo, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Whether it's Shaolin Kempo or Okinawa Kempo or the Kempo that I was taught. With the 365 system, where there's 365 points in the human body, 150 can fuck you up, 250 can kill you. You can figure it out. I cannot make you shit on yourself with pressure points. And I haven't had anybody do that to me yet, but I also know when I was battling Eric, when we were making my Fallen Dragons movie, he used Kung Fu, which also has a system of pressure points, and he shut off my goddamn foot. I could not get that bitch to function, and it was balled up like a fist, and I couldn't spread my toes or anything. I don't know what he did, but he barely touched it like 3 or 4 times. Shout out to Eric. and my shit wouldn't work. So pressure points do work if done right by the right person. You just haven't met the right person. That one was me for Rob. If you haven't met the right person who knows how to operate pressure points, then it's not going to work. But if you have met the right person, and I've met a couple of them, you know, pressure points work if the right motherfuckers knowing what they're doing while they're applying it. Love you, Rob. Now, the thing about fighting and the thing about belts. Fighting, again, as I told my nephew in the other video, in mid-fight, the style can change. You could be beating my ass with karates, and I'm getting my ass kicked with karate. I'm gonna switch to kung fu. If I'm getting my ass kicked with kung fu, depending on which style of the millions of styles of kung fu that I'm doing, I'm gonna switch to something else. I'm going to keep switching because it's going to be easier for me to manipulate you into fighting my fight. Understand where we're going here? If I'm fighting your fight, I'm probably going to lose. If I get you to fight my fight, I'm going to possibly win, unless I fuck up. Now, the thing about your knowledge of martial arts. First off, I don't think anybody under the age of 2 or from 2 to fucking 12 should be considered for a black belt. You might be good, but black belts do a couple of things. And this is just my personal opinion. You don't have to believe me, and I really don't care if you don't. One, when I was taking Taekwondo with Master Ennis, we had a black belt named Steve. He was cool. He wasn't cocky. He busted a dude's nose one time. That dude was a green belt when I came in as a white belt. I didn't call him sir, and his cockiness continued on, and I believe he eventually did get a black belt, and I still had my white belt. I couldn't do katas to save my life. So in Mr. Ennis' school of the inner stairway, when I'm sitting here and we got to do Tosan to get a yellow belt, okay, you got that? Tosan's still not done right. We switched to Naharate, which is Japanese Taekwondo. Again, still not right. Now it's funny how that works, because when we had freestyle sparring, before I had to go to work, I went to class, we had freestyle sparring, no one in Mr. Ennis' class could do the shit that I could do. Because here's the thing about martial arts. There's more than one way to teach martial arts. My way is not perfect, but my way works for me. And no matter what school you go to, everything that dojo teaches you isn't going to work for your teachers or your students. If you decide that you want to teach Taekwondo, where your required elements for a black belt is this kick, you're going to do 4. 1, make sure you guys can see me before I go any further. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? Now, because my hip don't work, that doesn't look like it's supposed to. What it's supposed to look like is 1, 2, 3, 4 in the high, and you're supposed to hold it. A lot of people can do that. I can't. I literally, physically cannot do that. And now it's because of old age. Back then it was just, that's not how my body works. And you have to understand body mechanics. You have to understand that your body is never going to be like my body, because it is your body. Your bodily functions function like mine. If you're a man, we pee for the most part standing up. We shoot a deuce sitting down. If you can shoot a deuce standing up, you're a BMF. Good for you. Am I going to try that? Hell no. I don't mind sitting down and shoot my deuce. Now, proper body mechanics. Your arm is made to go this way, this way, this way, and back this way. It ain't made to go like this part being down here. That means your shit is broken. Now, if I know your range of motion, let's say that's as high as you can kick, I have to teach you how to adapt to fighting taller people. Alright? Let's say this is as high as you can kick. I have to teach you Gung Fu, specifically low-level Gung Fu, so that your targets is thighs, knees, and shins. Because if you can't kick at my chest, Me teaching you to kick at my chest is wasting your time and mine. Now we can work on it, but you got to do the work. I can show you the kick all damn day. Step inside, boom. You're gonna kick me in the chest. Or you're gonna kick me in the face. But you gotta go home and put that fucking work in. Because if you're not practicing what I teach you, then you're wasting your time. You're wasting my time, but it's my time. I don't care. My job was to teach you. Your job is to go home and do the rest. You have to put your work in. Understand that shit. My legs don't work like they used to. I'm 47. That's not an excuse, that's just a fact. This hip was replaced. There is a scar there the size of the Mason-Dixon line. So I have to learn how to adapt to use my shit. Remember when I teach you guys bound fighting, where I'm sitting here and I tell you, if you're not a good fighter, you want to put your opponent in the position that puts him away from you. So if he's running, and you step up, boom, and he goes this way, you need to shift your weight and go this way. If he's running, and you decide to do an inside to outside crescent kick, putting your opponent over here, boom, he's over there. It's not that difficult because you land your foot, you plant your ass, and you go this way. If you don't have good fighting skills, then you need good escaping skills. All right? And that's just a fact. You need to be able to escape. You need to know how to get away from a situation. Now, a lot of people can't fight. A lot of people can fight. You won't know who's who until the fight starts. And always remember, in the streets, fights don't always go to the ground. In the event that they do, BJJ may be applicable. But there's a downside to every martial art, and no one who does martial arts is going to agree with me on here because they probably haven't really been in a lot of goddamn fights. If you can't get me down for one, your BJJ is useless. Keep that in mind. And I don't give a fuck who does BJJ and who says something in the comments about me telling you bullshit. Well, let me explain it to you one more time. I suck at BJJ, but I can beat BJJ people. And here's why. All you know is how to fight on the ground. If you can't get me to the ground, how effective is your BJJ? Now, at one point in time, back in the 80s, late 70s, back in my younger days, there was standing jiu-jitsu. Just like there was standing judo, there was standing jiu-jitsu. BJJ is an offset of that. Alright? That's something that the Gracies made specifically famous by Gracie standards. And I love the Gracies, but don't get me wrong. If it's a stand-up fight versus a BJJ guy, the BJJ guy's got to put that work in. He's got to get that stand-up guy to the ground. If that stand-up guy knows anything about fighting, and providing that it's not like against UFC or ONE or REC or anybody's rules, when you come in and grab me in this area, you got two problems. My lower body and my upper body. Now in a street fight, there are no rules. So when you come in to grab me, and I feel that I can't stop you from picking my ass up or body slamming, I'm going to jam my knee into you when you grab me. When you come in for that hug, or that double leg, or that single leg, you're eating a knee. Because you got to put your head down there to get me in the first place. You're eating a fucking knee. Boom! You're eating a fucking knee. Let's say I can't get the knee off in time, and you lock in. You lock in, and you're behind me like this. Your back's right there. Boom, 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 boom. If you think for a New Year's minute that I'm just going to lay there and let you scoop me up and dump me on the ground so that now you can take the fight and start whooping my ass with the BJJ that you know, then you are a damn fool. Because like I told my nephew in the other video, fight priorities change in mid-fight. Fights change in fight. It ain't going to be about what that person is going to use skill-wise. It's going to be about what this motherfucker has to do to get to apply that skill because you're doing everything you can to make sure that they don't. It's really not that difficult of a concept. Now, for those who are Thai fighters and kickboxers, y'all know what I'm talking about. When a guy comes in and you sidestep and ram your knee into his solar plexus and then back elbow to some bitch in the back. That's also part of Kung Fu, Wing Chun, and Wushu. And you probably don't see that because wushu has become a lost art or more of a showcase art versus its actual purpose. Now with Wing Chun, when you see this and they clap, as I tried to get my nephew, but he fucked up the demonstration, when I clap and you throw that punch and I'm here, I can push your hand back into you. And when I'm doing so, I can lock your body with your body. And now I've got your body in a cross motion because when you threw that punch left and I blocked it and pushed in, you probably went back to reflex. And when you did that, I put this hand from this position right here. Now I move into this position because I'm pushing you back. I'm also setting you up for either a kick here or a punch. It also depends on what wushu someone's teaching you, what gung fu someone's teaching you, what Wing Chun someone's teaching you. And let me explain that before I go any further. This is basic Wing Chun. Boom, boom, push hands. This trapping thing, that's basic Wing Chun. But Wing Chun evolves, just like everything else. Wushu evolved. Kung Fu, Gung Fu, Wing Chun, Shaolin, everything evolved to the person using it. If you are using a martial art that you were taught, I promise you, you have evolved it. You have taken what your teacher has taught you, and you have taken out what is not needed and kept what is needed. In other words, you've taken out the shit that don't work and using the shit that does work so that you can make it a more effective style. The students that you teach, your style, is going to take out what works for them, and what works for you, they're going to throw that shit away and use what works for them. This is how students and stuff evolves. This is also how rivalries happen. Well, I taught you this, and it works for me. And then you prove to the person, yeah, it works for you. It doesn't work for me. Alright? One thing Master Ennis said before I stopped going to his school, he said that if I did something that he found out works better than what he's teaching me, the school will take it and the school will use it. And it's the same thing like with when I tell somebody a difference between Kung Fu and Karate. It's really minor differences. But as I showed my nephew, you have to know when to switch off from Kung Fu to Karate and back. You have to know whatever martial art you are taking, when to switch to a different martial art to use in the heat of that battle. Because I boom and I strike, and I'm still doing Wing Chun because he's throwing it left, and I block and I strike. And I strike a gut because he's fully extended. I strike a gut, I lock an arm, or I hit a throat. Because boom, I've broken his arm. I'm using Kempo now because I went from Wing Chun to Kempo. I've blocked the elbow and I've broken it. So basically it's a Wing Chun Kempo combo because he's throwing a full extended arm. That means I'm going to block. I'm going to push his elbow in this direction. I'm going to pull his arm in that direction. So when I'm pulling and pushing, I'm at the wrist with this, I'm at the elbow with this. Snap, boom. Now from there, I've slid down the arm. Either if this arm is closer to going below, then I'm going to hit a rib, which means my arm was down here. When I broke and his arm fell, my positioning was down here. If I'm here and I slide up his arm, now here's how this works so that I don't confuse y'all. 9 times out of 10, if I'm shorter than the person, I'm going to go for a rib because their arm's going to be right here and I'm already going to have to be in a low position in the first place. If I'm taller than the person, like my nephew, I would go elbow break and then to the face or the throat because I'm tall. Now you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Because James, you're always bitching about height not mattering. Height doesn't matter. Skill level matters. But the reason why I have to do it that way is because of the height of my opponent. Understand? So I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm making sure I broke that down and explained to you. If the guy is taller, it's more than likely I'm going to have to go under. Because I'm going to have to jump up to go above his head. I don't have time for that because he's thinking about beating my ass. And in a fight, 2 guys ain't thinking consciously unless you're in a professional setting like a UFC. In a street fight, when I break your elbow, I'm trying to finish your shit off as fast as I can. So if you're like in this area and you throw the punch and I block and I break, boom, boom, that's a lot easier for me than boom and up because of where it is. Now, let's say I eliminate the Kempo factor and just do Wing Chun. Alright? But as I do that, I put a small twist on it. I still break the arm, like in Wing Chun. But when I break the arm for Wing Chun, I'm going to twist this wrist here around your wrist and pull you. If I pull you, I can strike under and I can strike over. Alright? But if I'm just doing Kempo, the reason why I'm going to break and then strike under is generally got something to do with the person's height and my ability to get the fuck out the way. Because you're going to need to be able to get the fuck out the way. You just broke their elbow. I didn't break the wrist. I'm not doing Aikido. I'm doing Kempo and Kung Fu. So I'm breaking the elbow. Now, let me break this down for y'all, for those who don't understand. Alright, when I was taught Kempo, I was taught to break at joints. I was not taught to do it the Steven Seagal way for Aikido, where you break at the wrist. Now, what little bit of Aikido I know, when I grab your wrist and break it, those holes that are judo holes are also in Aikido. So, with a little bit of Aikido that I know, and it's very little, I know more judo than I know Aikido. With the hole here, when I have my nephew arm this way, I am to step into him and then throw him with judo. But Aikido, I am to step into him and then hit and then roll and throw him. It's the same goddamn thing. It's a quick hip toss in judo. It's a long roll in Aikido. Alright? But the arm break is still the same. Except for in Aikido, I'm not going to break the elbow, I'm going to break the wrist. So when I break the wrist, I'm going to step in and then I'm going to roll throw him. So I'm going to strike him also, which I left off, but I'm going to do some shit to make it a little bit more effective. Now in judo, I'm going to straight use his momentum anyway. Now judo, I can do it from the Kung Fu roll as well. When he throws a punch, I don't even have to get on the inside. When I grab his wrist, I can just hit and then throw him. Understand? So like I said, you have to understand when you need to switch styles during the fight. A lot of people don't teach you that, but a lot of people don't know, wow, that squirrel can actually climb this thing and it doesn't even care that I'm out here. That's awesome. Let me show you guys just in case you think I'm nuts. Yeah, just in case you thought I was nuts. Alright, and I'm also for the most part looking at a black screen. So when I do that, yeah, I'm making sure that I'm in a situation where I can be on the outside. Now in the event that I can't be on the outside, I block and I throw here. My big mistake was getting right here, because he still has a right hand that he can come over and hit me in the face. So when I get right here, I want to make sure that I strike him, giving him negative chances of striking me before I can judo throw him. So strike, and then I'm going to throw him. Now, the lower my center of gravity, the better my chances of throwing him. However, if he's good, he's going to flip out of that. But he's still going to have a broken arm. So he's one wheel down. That's my advantage there. I have one wheel over him that he doesn't have. Now my trick is that I get him pissed off enough, he's going to come at me stupid again. So if he comes at me stupid again, I got him. So now he's on this side. He throws his right hand because he's not really able to use his left hand. Boom, I break the elbow. But this time I break the elbow with my forearm. And I snap here, and then I'm here, and then I'm here. Now the reason why I would do that is because, first, that's probably the first chance I had. Because of where my body position is from throwing him. As I throw him, I'm going to get back up in this same position. I'm not going to throw him and then get up this way. That would be a waste of time and energy when I was already facing him. When I threw him, he's the one that's going to roll. When he rolls, he's going to have to get back up to his feet. When he gets up to his feet, he's going to be ready. I'm already there. So when he comes at me, he throws another punch, which would be his right punch. Boom! Now I've broken the elbow again, the same way, just a different move. You know, now he has two broken elbows. This fight is slowly becoming mine. Right, after I break his elbow, this strike again is going to be here because he's like this. So he's broke the elbow, I've hit him, and then I'm going to hit him again. So it'll be, I got the broken elbow, boom, boom, boom. Alright? Now both his arms are broken. So he's in big shape. This is the part where he should probably disengage and run away. And this is the part where some people get stupid and pride comes in. Also, he's going to have an adrenaline rush. So he might not feel that shit. He may still want to engage, which would probably cripple him in the long run, but that ain't my problem. My problem is that I have an enraged motherfucker trying to hurt me, and I need to make sure that I put his ass down. I want to kill him, but in the event that I have to, I've already broken both of his arms, so the next step is to break his fucking kneecaps so that he can't stand up. Now, understand this, because a person that cannot stand can still fuck your shit up. Don't think for a New York minute just because someone is down that they're out. If their eyes aren't shut, they are not out. They're just down. And when people teach you things about fighting, you need to take all aspects of that shit seriously. Alright? And if you don't, this is the last thing I'm going to make on this video, and then I'm going to another video after this. And that video is going to be a little bit more questionable, if you will. But it is going to be a martial arts. So, after you've gone through all these motions of breaking his body parts, he's pretty much done. But the golden rule on a fight that you need to know, it is not how hard you hit someone, it is where you hit them. And a lot of martial artists are against me on this, but I don't give a damn because I'm going to tell you the truth. Solid muscle is harder to do damage to than soft muscle. So when they talk about protecting your central line, the reason why they talk about protecting your central line is because you get hit in the neck, you're going to know it, collapse windpipe, you're probably going to die. You get hit in the sternum, where your stomach and your lungs and all meet, you're probably going to stop short. Like, literally, you're going to stop short. Even if you got a six-pack, if I can stop you from breathing, you're not going to be able to hurt me. Because the rule number one in my book is, if you can't breathe, you can't hurt me. If you can't stand, you can still fuck me up. But if you can't breathe, fight's mine. So when a lot of people go to these schools and they learn jab, jab, they're teaching you to punch people in the face. I always tell people, your main target on your opponent. Forgive me for telling this to everyone on YouTube. But I gotta do it because what kind of person would I be if I didn't? Most people are bigger than you. Most people will get bigger than you. But that does not make them any better than me at fighting. It just gives me more obstacles to work with. My favorite saying is the bigger you are, the harder I get to hit you. But again, I have specific targets. Throat, sternum. Kill zone 1, kill zone 2. Kill zone 2 and 3 are great because 2 is a bigger target. 3 is a facial shot to here and not this fucking stereotypical ninja blow. Fuck that shit. Because you're going to see my open hand before you see my clenched fist. It's wider. You can slow this down and look. That's wider. I can see that versus this. Alright? So, wide, small. See, when your hand is wide, it's an open target, you know. People can see how big that bitch is. When your hand is condensed into a fist, it's a little bit smaller. And if you want to do praying mantis, it's even smaller. But the thing is, I got to hit you where I know it's going to stop your functioning. Alright? Hitting you in the face, hitting you in the belly, hitting you in the face, probably going to piss you off unless you got a glass jaw. You might go to sleep. Hitting you in the belly, it's going to slow you down. If not stop you, it's definitely going to slow you down. But hitting you right under that breastbone, right where when you take a sip after watching this, where that water stops, that's where you do not want to get hit. But knowing that, if I hit you there, I'm hitting you with bad intentions. I'm hitting you to stop you from hurting me. Now, like I said, you got 365 pressure points. Your elbows, they are pressure points. They are also arteries. They control the flow of blood. If I can stop the flow of blood going to a certain part of your body, it makes that part of the body useless. Now, no, I am not Snake Eyes. No, I do not know the 7 ways to the sun. I also do not know Kiba no Goku from the Batman the Animated Series. I am not going to say that the death touch does not exist because I haven't seen it. And if I haven't seen it, I can't prove that it does not exist. It's the same thing like Bigfoot. I believe in Bigfoot because I'm also part native and they have stories about Bigfoot. Some of them heroes, some of them not. I strongly believe in Coyote and the Thunderbird. Can I prove that they exist? No. Can I prove that they ever existed? No. You see the conundrum? I believe in God. Lots of people who are watching me probably don't. Do you ever see me pray? No, you don't. Because I don't bring my religion here. Because I don't really have a religion. I just believe in God. And it's not my place to dump my religion or my politics on you. And every now and again, you will see my politics here. But it is what it is. You don't have to like them. You don't have to support them. Just please respect them. I will respect your opinion. And you and I both will just have some moral compasses issues that we are not going to ever fucking change. Alright? And that's fine. But what I ain't going to do to you is lie to you and say, I can fly. No, I cannot. But I can tell you this. I know where to hit you to stop you versus not hitting you and letting you whoop my ass. You understand the concept of that? Because if I'm just standing there and I'm taking a beating, I fucked up somewhere. That's all to that. I was trying to teach my nephew a knuckle strike because it's also something that I learned in Kempo, but I also learned it in Wing Chun. I also learned it in karate. And that's where I'm going to take my fucking hand and try to hit you in a super radio nerve that is somewhere over here. It is not the same in everybody's hand. Some of y'all got it over here. It's the same thing with the funny bone, which is generally the same in everybody, but it's that same feeling, it's just in your hand. You know, there's a lot of things you can learn from Kempo. Now, as I close out, I want to make sure you understand the principle of teaching a martial art is to carry on your knowledge and pass it to someone else. They are going to obtain knowledge that succeeds your knowledge, and they're going to pass it to someone else. That's pretty much how it's been going on for generations, without that exception of before we came to America, etc., etc. But prior to that, and nowadays, most people don't give a damn about who they teach as long as they're teaching and as long as they're making money. I have a standard. I need to know what level of martial arts you are already on, because I am a strong believer in I can't unteach you. This is where I was going before I went off on that tangent. No one can unteach you what you already know. They can only teach you to adapt it and mish it in with what they are teaching you. If you are a black belt in karate or taekwondo, I can't teach you karate or taekwondo. I can teach you kung fu, and I can teach you how to mix them up. I can teach you how to adapt to the fact that if I'm beating you with kung fu, you need to switch to karate. But you don't need to switch to karate. You need to switch to a certain karate that I may not have seen before. So if you're going to switch to Okinawa karate, I'm probably going to recognize it because I started with Okinawa karate. Just more freestyle than Okinawa traditional karate. You understand how that's working? That's the karate I was taught. When I go into here, I'm not going from here and my next step is here. No, I'm going here and I'm going to get ready to fight. So when I'm here and you throw a punch or a kick, that's what the first beak of the crane is for, to block that shit. And then come back up. You know, if I'm blocking, and then crane certainly becomes the snake. Alright? Remember, this is the crane and that is the snake. Alright? So when I'm losing with you and you're fighting crane, and I'm throwing stuff and you're just blocking, and then I decide to go from here to here. As you can see my hand, the snake has a fang. So I have switched off because I'm getting my ass kicked. So I need to learn how to adapt. So now you don't know snake, now this fight's mine. Boom. 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 Pretty much the same with crane. Boom. 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 But the hand stays the same. Snake, the hand's here. Crane, the hand's here. Now everyone's going to teach you differently and they're going to come at me for that. But that's it. I need to know when to switch in battle. If you're going tiger, I need to damn sure be going dragon. So if you're coming here for a strike, I need to be able to block. You know, because if you're going boom, or you're going here and then here, I need to be able to block and block and block at all times. I need to block until I can find an opening. Maybe my dragon ain't as strong as your tiger. So if I don't know tiger, I need to know how to counteract tiger. Alright? Now the thing is, alright, I need your range of motion. That's the second thing that I need to know so that I can teach you. If I don't know how high you can kick, if you can't do this, I need to know that you can't do a high crescent kick outside to inside. If you can't do the same kick going the other way, which is outside to inside, you know, I need to know. Because then I can take that sequence attack off your playbook. Alright? Because this is a sequence attack. Boom. Boom. if I can't get you to do that crescent kick to lead into that sequence, I have to teach you something else. So I would teach you a different sequence attack. So you can't do the crescent kick, no problem. You can still do a front kick and then a spinning back kick. Boom, boom. Now you know if you're doing Taekwondo, after you get that front kick, boom. It's chambered, your foot's down, you turn, chamber, turn, chamber, turn. You get the gist. So after you do that, that's a lot of fucking work. Versus, boom. You know, you have to learn when to adapt. Fights don't happen so fucking slow that you're gonna have time to chamber shit. Understand that. If you're doing Taekwondo and I'm doing karate, and you're Taekwondo, boom, chamber, down, turn, chamber, 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 chamber. Okay, it's a lot of goddamn chambers. I don't have time for that shit. I'm trying not to get my ass kicked. So when I block and you turn for your spinning chamber kick, my ass is gonna be right here. I am not turning my back on you. So I'm gonna block. I double push that shit off with a crane push or a butterfly push. That puts you back in the position, but your back's still against me. I can do a lot of things when you're right here chambering your fucking kick, the throw. I can do a lot of things. Not letting you complete that kick is number one. And a lot of people want to Goku this shit. Maybe that's something you guys can relate to. I'm a Goku this shit. I'm going to let you kick me because you are a dumbass. I'm not Gokuing shit. When you kick me with this front kick and I block it and you're doing this to this, I got about 5 seconds that I can do some shit from that block, from when you spin to here. When you're here, I'm already on you and your face is going to the ground because I blocked the front kick and you started spinning. I can get over here and push you off balance because your foot just left the ground. I have to have my shit timed right. So when I'm teaching you, again, I need to know what level of martial arts you have had. Because I'm not going to take you back to day one. Everybody high block, everybody low block, everybody high right, everybody low right, everybody step back, here, 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 bat away, bat away, bat away, bat away, bat away. No! Because I almost can promise you that shit I just did, high block, you might get that if someone's coming down with an axe kick or a hammer fist. Bat away. Okay, if they're coming at you with one of these, yeah, you bat the bitch away. If they're throwing a jab and you bat it away, yeah. Because I'm going to know that you should already know that shit. Before you get your first fucking belt, the first damn thing that a teacher should have taught you was here, 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 here. If they're not teaching you that day one, you got problems. Unless you're going to a Kung Fu school, where they're not going to teach you that day one. They're going to teach you a whole different system of blocks, all right? Understand, that was just karate blocks. Kung Fu shit changes shit up, all right? So if I'm doing Wing Chun from this stance, which is uncomfortable because I'm not used to it. So if you're throwing a punch and my block is here and I'm batting it down or I'm batting it up, I have moves that I need to be instructed in right after. Now for me, and only for me, for my Wing Chun, when you throw that punch, I'm blocking this way, I'm getting to the outside of your body. The reason I'm getting to the outside of your body is because I'm going to stop you from using the rest of your body to stop me from stopping you. Where if I'm doing karate and I bat it away, I still got to do it with your left hand. Right? I still got to do it with your left hand. But if I'm doing Kung Fu and I get to the outside of you, break an elbow and slide down, or if I'm doing Kempo, break an elbow and slide under or slide up, I have a better chance of successfully winning this fight than trying to bat it this way and throw a punch, only for you to have your free hand throw a punch, and then who knows? You might know some shit that I don't know, and you might block that and then strike with the same hand, which is basically with Kung Fu, boom, boom, that's your one direct motion, boom, boom, it's right there, versus karate where it's boom and then counter. You see the difference? You're going to need to know that shit. When you are in a fight, you're not going to have time to think about that shit. Your body mechanics are going to have to know that. which goes back to before I can teach you anything, I need to know your range of motion. Enough said. Thanks for watching.